What's happening? Welcome in, J Mart and Ramon. The name of the show actually fits again. We're all here. As Brian Rice told you, the one-day work week is my favorite move. We were taking bets all week as to whether when you were going to send the message. Be like, I talked to Paul. I'll see you all on Wednesday.
Come on, man. I didn't even try that time. I didn't even try that time, and it just came out just raw. Come on.
That's what she said.
I'm trying to grow up, man. Come on, man. I wasn't even trying that time. Dang. That's one of my crutches, huh?
You could actually probably get that put on a shirt.
Big old crutch.
Come on,
Because you can wear that at all times. I wasn't even trying.
Yeah. That was crazy. I wasn't even trying. Yeah, I like that one, Jay. That's another. Jot that one down.
Yeah.
I walked in the building last night. I had to take my kid to hitting and pitching stuff last night. And I walked in the building and said, "What up, Geoff?" And the dude was like, "Is that the voice?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I listened to you. You said exactly what you said on the radio." I was like, "I got to start switching up what I say, Jay." I don't. I guess we just are who we are, right?
Yeah. At this point in time, it's like, you know what you're listening to when you listen to this show.
Yeah.
We will have John Glennon later. We'll have Casey Alexander as Belmont basketball coach, but Belmont's first official day in the Missouri Valley Conference.
Hey,
We'll just ask him a couple questions at the end of the show about what that means to the university. Haven't had much sports news this week. The Deshaun Watson situation, they tried to settle and didn't get there. And then two big things happened yesterday, fairly big. Like we've talked some Freddie Freeman this week, and we've talked a few other little things this week. But the Durant story and what that means, that being one, and then is there a Pac-12 if USC and UCLA? Like, we're supposed to have Geoff Schwartz today, and I'm hosting with him on Monday.
Yeah.
And he was going to give me yesterday and give me a schedule on what made the most sense for him to come on this morning. I still think he probably will, but I'm going to have to find him today because after that happened with him working with the Pac-12 network, he hurt,
man.
He was gone.
He hurt, and I feel for the Pac-10. Pac-10 again?
I think it should be the Pac-0.
Pac together. I'm looking at it like when you lose those two, and apparently they did it without anybody knowing. Nobody knew about this. And it's so many things that went through my mind when I heard this. I was like, when it first dropped, I was like, yeah, right. Like, logistically, geographically, it just doesn't make any sense. But then you start thinking about what those two programs are. Just to one college football, the other being basketball, and the Big Ten plays good basketball over there too. I was just like, wow, so what is the Pac-12? And you know what, too, Jay? Immediately I started thinking about, what else? The ACC.
Oh, yeah.
Because if we're looking at what's happening as far as the Pac-12, I know the ACC has been flourishing a lot more than, heck, they've been competing with the SEC and with the Big Ten as far as a couple of teams here or there, sprinkling in some, a team or two in the college football playoffs. But I'm thinking to myself, like, really? How strong are y'all two right now? This almost feels like the bully walking into the school that's really, okay, all right, what kind of chips you got over there? Y'all don't really have anything, those Lays? Okay, well, give me 50 cents. Oh, y'all just got a turkey sandwich? You got chicken salad? Nah. I need $1.50 from you because I'm going to get an extra pizza. Like, that's what it feels like, is Debo is coming down the block right now.
Well, I mean, you saw what Feinbaum said. Couple years away from having two conferences in college football, and that's it. Two super conferences.
Yeah.
And that seems about right. ACC folds in the SEC, Pac-12 folds into the Big Ten, Big 12 probably splits, and you get a couple of those in both, maybe. That's probably what we're doing. That's probably where we're going.
So if we're looking at it as good as as long as these conferences have been around, I know we're going to get deeper into it too, Jay, discussing what does it mean for each. But like, as much history as the Pac-12 has, and as much history as the ACC has, those two conferences were only two teams away that was holding up everybody else. UCLA and USC, and I throw Oregon in there also. And I know there's a couple other teams that's holding their own in the Pac-12. But then we look at the ACC. We got Clemson. You had Pitt win the conference this past year. But historically, what do you have? Miami, Florida State, You know, like I know Virginia Tech and Virginia been doing their thing too, but it's been two teams holding up the rest of those conferences for a while. And they finally got to a point. It was like, all right, well, as far as the Pac-12 go, the ACC hadn't made a move yet. All right, our back's hurting now. We're tired of carrying this load. No matter how good or bad we've been, it's time for us to make a move for us. And I just couldn't believe that those two schools, the cornerstones, right, Jay? Mm-hmm. One of the two of the cornerstones of that conference decided they're going to bolt. And not even to the Big 12. They said, screw that. We're going across country. But then if you look at the academic side of it, you look at what one team means to another. They've played each other often as far as that goes, man. The coaching, what do you want to call them, superstar coaches aspect of it too, they do bring a lot. They went yesterday and said they was going to a vote. Like, what are you really voting on? Mm-hmm. No, that was do you agree? Yeah, we all do. Okay, go make it happen. Release the presser.
No, that's right.
Like, what is there even to think about when it comes down to it? But it does so much for those two teams. And I'd also say this, the Big Ten definitely got stronger. No matter where USC is football-wise, they're going to be a brand. They're a bigger brand, I feel like now. And I feel like the same thing goes for UCLA. There's really good basketball that's played in the Big Ten. And that's the aspect in which they're bringing to the Big Ten along with the academic side. But not only that, when we're talking about recruiting, when we're talking about, okay, who are you attached to? One of the main things that got kind of thrown out to me when I was being recruited as far as being an SEC player, you will place against some of the best, even if we're not a great team. And they didn't say that, but you have an opportunity to go against NFL talent this year and the next year and the year after that. Like, they're feeding these guys that, so it's more attractive to the recruits that they're going to get. I was saying yesterday too, the addition of NIL, and I'd even throw social media into it, Jason. NIL, social media, these kids in high school, they get plucked from their current high schools to go to IMG, to go to, let's be honest, Lipscomb, to go to Ainsworth, to go to BA, just naming some regional schools or some matter days. Like, they get plucked across the country to go to certain places. The kid, Carnell Lake, went to IMG. I think he's from, like, Illinois. Mm-hmm. And those are the things that are happening. These kids are intermingled with each other so much so that you got to attach yourself to a familiar brand. Because a kid from Cali now will go to an SEC school. We've seen this happen time and time again. We see kids from Hawaii going to Alabama. You know what I'm saying? Like DJ Ugalangale, however you say. Golly, I got to get his name right. Ugalangale. He's a Cali kid.
You're talking about the kid Clemson.
At Clemson, the quarterback at Clemson. Another Cali kid that went
close enough.
It was close enough.
He didn't play well enough
solid.
that you really need to know how to pronounce his name.
What?
Ugalangale.
That was good too, Jason.
What?
Iamaliava?
Not that one too. But okay, well, when he came out of high school though, he was supposed to be Trevor's guy.
No, he was. Yeah.
But then you have him leaving the West Coast to come all the way to South Carolina. Like, that's what it does for you. So California recruiting is always huge, but now they're actually attached to a bigger brand than what the Pac-12 offered too. This is it's kind of earth, like it tilts the earth a little bit as far as that move being made. That's heavy, man.
Oh, it's huge.
It's very heavy.
I mean, again, the Pac-12, and Geoff will tell you this and has told us this, it's a bunch of research institutions that are run differently, that care about different things than a lot of other schools.
Yeah.
I mean, medical schools and all of that kind of stuff. Stanford, and that's what those universities are known for. It's why they're all kind of together, not just because of where they're geographically located. But if USC and UCLA leave the Pacific 12 Conference, there's no Pacific 12 Conference.
No.
There's nothing left. Like, that takes the guts out of – that takes – in large scale, kind of takes California out. Like, you've still got Cal, and you've still got, but Cal Berkeley again it's more known as an institution than it is anything else. And then Stanford is Stanford.
Yep.
And you just have to think we are spiraling down to two super conferences, and I think the absence of the NCAA at the same time. So I think this is all kind of playing in the same way. Texas and Oklahoma are coming. Starting to think they're not coming alone.
No.
Starting to think there's going to be another 10 schools by the time we get to 2025 or 2026, what's the conference going to be renamed? I don't know. But I mean, the ACC and SEC ending up in some kind of an alliance would make a lot of sense from a geographical perspective. And I've always been like, I grew up in ACC territory, but it was very easy to also become a pretty big SEC fan living where I've lived.
Yeah.
Geographically, it all fits. And there's situations where you've got Clemson and South Carolina. So you got one of each.
Yeah.
You've got Kentucky and Louisville. Like, you've got all of these different things that are there.
Yeah, Louisville.
So it could very much, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's a lot that could potentially happen, and I don't know how soon it's going to happen, but this story was just kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
Easy, fellas.
And again, Jay, I know we hadn't even brought it up or even thought about it really, but just as soon as the NBA has their day, American football just says, hold my beer real quick.
Yep.
We had NBA free agency yesterday. It's usually the NFL that takes their turn, but you know what? Big Ten said, hold my beer. College football said, come over here, man. We got a bigger storyline for you guys.
NFL's going to take it over later today.
They got something today, you think?
I'm in the Watson deal. May drop.
It's supposed to. God, NBA.
I mean, they did. Well, look, the deal. Look, we're going to talk about Durant because
Ja got a deal done. Ja got
his deal done. But at this point, look, I don't even want to do it. I want to get to break, and I want to talk about it after the break.
Okay.
We're going to do a bonus Bleep You Aaron Rodgers.
I missed your teases, man. That was good right there.
That wasn't a tease.
I
That was just, I'm not even going to, screw it. I'm not even going to do it. Like, nope, not going to do it. We'll talk about that when we come back. We'll talk about the NBA situation.
Do I get the bonus today?
The bonus.
Bleep you?
Yeah, I'm giving you.
You got
I'm
one
giving
too?
You the bonus.
I feel like you got something.
I had 4 yesterday.
Oh, you lit them up?
Yeah, we almost had violence between listeners yesterday because one guy called a profession out, and the profession retorted, and then it got into the chat.
It got iffy?
Yeah, it got.
Amazon corporate got involved on Twitter.
This was Le'Veon Bell v. Adrian Peterson.
Are they transcripts right though?
I mean, one of them's cousin Andrew, so.
I mean, one was discharged from the Marines, so I guess.
His transcript is terrible.
Oh, man. Transcript doesn't have the final T on it. It's just transcript.
He might not have been able to get on some of those rides this weekend either.
Telephone number 615. Oh, boy. 737-1045. Yeah, too tall. Him and Sam Monson you wait here. We'll be right back after we ride the Carolina Cyclone.
Trench coat in the
Oh, 2 people standing on top of each other.
You are not allowed on the Sizzler.
615-737-1045. Nah, Andrew, you can go to the Sizzler.
I've never been.
I haven't either, but I've been to the Western Sizzlin'.
Okay.
Back in the day. We'll come back. We'll talk. I'm not doing it right now. It's J. Martin Ramon, 1045 The Zone.
Jeez.
So apartment living can be a little bit tough. You want to paint. You want to have pets. You want to repair or upgrade things yourself on your timetable and not have to submit some request that takes forever to be answered. And you're worried about your stuff being too loud or everybody else's stuff keeping you up at night. You're trying to find a parking spot. You're thinking about maintenance being at your home at any time. It can get really old really, really fast. Instead of sending those monthly payments, again, that's the other thing. You're sending your payments to somebody else's pocket. You got no equity working for you. So what about owning your own home? With rents continuing to rise at the fastest pace in decades, over 21% average increase in Nashville year over year. It's time to start paying your own mortgage instead of paying the landlord's mortgage. As the Southeast's leading mortgage lender, Mortgage Investors Group, here to help get not just any loan, but the right home loan. Their team of mortgage experts care. They're committed to helping you close on time, structure your loan the best way, and they're going to help you make your home buying goals a reality. Over 2,600 reviews on Zillow will tell you there is a difference with Mortgage Investors Group. Get online. Call them at migonline.com is where you can get everything you need there. migonline.com. Find the office nearest you or text MIG to 31399. That's MIG to 31399 to get pre-qualified. Mortgage Investors Group, the right home loan, equal housing lender, license number 109111. Welcome back, J Mart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Saw Thor: Love and Thunder last night.
Get out.
The rest of you will have that opportunity about a week from today.
Big flex right there.
No.
I like Thor
It was actually, I
movies.
believe, you, Aaron Rodgers, yesterday, because that screening was Wednesday and got canceled after me and Abby were already there.
Yeah, but it's still a flex.
It's still a flex.
It's not a flex,
They
man.
put
It's a flex.
It's a cool flex, man.
Do you get to do it and we don't?
Yep.
That's a flex.
That's a flex.
I thought about inviting you too, Shay.
I don't believe
Eat
that.
'em.
But I know where you live, and I know what time the screening was, and I knew there was no point.
What time was the screening?
7.
Oh,
Where
you
was it at?
definitely making it.
Franklin.
No.
That's right.
What?
As soon as he said Franklin, no.
You should
I
have
knew.
bought into it.
No.
If it's Opry Mills, I'd have potentially mentioned it
Yeah.
to you.
Opry Mills in Hendersonville? Absolutely.
He said potentially mention it to you. Like he wouldn't
Well,
be
Opry
even
Mills is
sure.
kind of not necessarily.
Yeah, but that's okay because, I mean, that's a drive I made back and forth for 10 years, so that's no big deal. But Franklin, no, because that's an hour drive. That's an hour drive. So by the time all that stuff's
It's
done, you
because
get out
of
of
the
the
time
movie
of
and all
day.
that.
If it was a 5 o'clock screening, I'd have still suggested it to him.
Yeah.
Mm.
If it would have been 6, it'd have been fine. But as soon as it hits that 7 threshold and it's on the other side of town, can't do it.
That is about it, ain't
That's
it?
it.
About 7
Now,
o'clock.
like Sunday, I get to go to the soccer game because not working on Monday. So that's fine. I can go to the soccer
welcome.
game Sunday. We wouldn't have been working regardless.
Well, yeah, but you still got out of 2 hours of work.
Huh?
Right, but what I'm saying is we wouldn't have been doing. We're not doing our show Monday anyway, regardless of you actually working Monday morning or not.
Right.
So I get to go to the soccer.
My
game
point is that you didn't have to put together a 4-hour best of because I
that's-
care about you.
Again, this has nothing to do with me. This has everything to do that you're getting paid to work with your buddy Geoff.
Okay. Is that now we're getting to the root of
He's
it?
trying to say
Okay.
the secondary thing is the primary thing, and it's
Look,
not.
if you have to put together 4 hours of best of for the third time in like a month,
Okay.
yeah,
from 6 to 10, and then you find out, actually, you only need to do 8 to 10 because I'm going to host live for you on Monday. The only reason I said yes to Fox was because of you.
I don't believe that at all.
Lies.
Just like Brooks Koepka, man. I joined Live. I joined Live for
There it is.
I joined Live for low management
Yep.
and an easy schedule. Certainly not over $100 million.
I am now. Let me put this. I'm not going to thank you, but I am thankful that that decision was made because that show's already done. So I've already got it handled.
You're just going
a
all
great way to
around.
do that.
You're trying to go all around it to avoid giving me credit for anything.
That's a great way to put that, right?
I am not going around trying to give you credit.
on,
I'm
Shay.
actually properly framing what has happened instead of you trying to take credit for something that just happened to happen alongside
If
your
I
decision.
if I wanted to get
okay.
if I wanted to
That was
get
solid.
treated if I wanted to get treated as irrelevant in the larger scheme of life,
just go to the
I'd
house.
just go look at my daughter.
Oh, okay. That's true.
Because you're number 4 at your house. That's fine. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Am I still 4?
Oh.
I did get a Bluey stuffed toy, so it's possible I'm now 5.
Wow.
Oh, you're definitely below the Bluey stuff.
Oh, 100%.
There's no doubt.
She's going to grab that before she even think about you.
By the way,
anymore.
shout out to Tyler Dunn because much
Yeah.
like your daughter, he was able to wean his kid off of cocoa milk.
Yeah, you
Cut 'em
tweeted
off
out
the
and cut him
Cocoa
off.
Melon.
I cut him off.
Saw that.
We just ended it,
Yeah.
and she doesn't remember.
That's awesome,
We just
man.
moved on.
That's usually, you know what? I see kids, I never tell anybody how to raise their kid except for you. I say, send her to the yard, okay? Just got to throw that out there. Never mind. But that's beside the fact. I see people walking around with their kids that have binkies or pacifiers or nooks, whatever you want to call them, right? And
Okay.
these kids be like 4 and 5 years old, Jason. I'm talking about walking up to mommy and handing it to her and be like, here you go. And go to the playground and play. When they're done playing at the playground, they come back to mommy with the pacifier, binky, nook, whatever you want to call it, okay?
All right.
And grab it back from mom. I'm like, hold up. If this kid can walk to you and hand you the pacifier, then you need to find a way to wing that kid off of that pacifier at 4 and 5 years old. Am I right? Like, those are like adult-like decisions for a kid that you can decide that you don't need it for this time frame.
So there's one thing. Like, we never did the pacifier.
Yeah,
We did it in the hospital for
Yeah.
one night when we had the Billy Rubin and just a very difficult night.
Yeah.
It was like second night of her life.
Okay.
Since then, no, we have like 6 of them at home.
Yeah.
They're all still in the packages.
Yeah.
Because we just decided if we can avoid it, let's just avoid it.
I feel that, but I've seen parents with like 4 and 5 year olds with them. I'm like, you can just pull that away. They wouldn't even remember it. They'd ask you about it, and you'd be like, nah, I lost it. You don't know. You don't have you can trick a kid, okay? You can trick a kid out of the pacifier to where they don't have to walk around with it and have me questioning why is that kid handing you his pacifier to go to the playground? That's the thing. You can wing them off of it pretty good, Jay. Same way UCLA and USC wing themselves out of the Pac-12. That was a decent little thread right there.
Something I was trying to figure out what you were doing, but sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
For sure. But yeah. Proud of you two. That was a nice little spat right there too.
Well,
I was like a fish.
It's an extension from yesterday. Jason Caillou Martin.
We got to have a talk.
yeah, he called me Caillou yesterday.
For good reason.
Caillou Martin.
He called me that.
I'm back listening to the entire show.
I ain't taking it back.
I didn't tell you to take it back.
Oh,
We can take it outside.
Okay, Gimpy. I'll beat you with your own boot.
The boot's in your office.
I
It's
know.
not on me.
Yeah, I know. I'll beat you with your own boot.
and tell him so. It's a metal belt too.
I wish you'd try, man.
I love this.
I was at my golf lesson yesterday,
Hey, you know what, tough
and a
guy?
story
Don't
was.
tempt me with a good time.
So we're over there at Riverside, and from where we were at,
The side mother.
I was talking about distance and various stuff, and coach said, "Yeah, I had an 11-year-old
Huh?
like a couple weeks ago." He's like, "You think I can hit the bridge?" The bridge was like 800 yards away, and the response from him was, "Boy, I'd love to see you try."
Yeah. Throw that football over that mountain.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that quote, and I'm like, "Man, that's how I feel about Schaefer right there. Boy, I'd love to watch you try."
We got people in the chat saying, "Run it, catch me outside." How about that? Who we betting with today? DraftKings or who? Who we got? What's the odds on this? Over under 1 round.
Over under 1 round? I have no idea.
Going under. Neither one of y'all gonna make it 3
Oh,
minutes.
I'm out of shape. There's no way this is going to be on 2 minutes.
Neither one of y'all making it 3 minutes,
Nah,
man.
fam.
Oh, but dude, got back from Disney yesterday. It was pretty cool. Flight got pushed back. It's like, God, dog, man. I tried to get back here in enough time to get settled back in. No, got pushed backwards and then got changed to another flight that tried to. I'll tell you this: there will be an extension of Bleep You Aaron Rodgers today, and it's going towards an airline. Over it.
Hey, look.
Over it.
Kayla went after an airline yesterday.
Oh.
Well, not an airline, but a passenger on the airplane.
Dog. Travel. I'm like, no, you're not doing this. I'll explain if and when we get to that point, Jason. But yes, dog. But it was a good time out there. I'm glad to be back home. I think it's just the comforts of being here. Cali was cool, but I was just like, people say it's all beautiful, but it's only beautiful in certain spots. Like, that's what I thought it was kind of raggedy in some
A lot
places.
of California's not.
Michael said he's seen that
Yeah.
bridge hit plenty of times. We weren't on the range, though, Michael. Like, I know what you're talking about. We weren't on the range.
Oh, I missed that.
This would have been
Mike on
a
Twitch.
preposterous shot. Like, Koepka's not getting within 500 yards of this shot.
Oh, this is 800 yards.
Yeah, that's probably undercutting it.
Well, it's all good.
And it's in the air. Like, it's not like it's rolling into the bridge. The bridge is up in the air.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's awesome, Jay. Well, did you guys miss me, man? No?
I did.
Thank you.
I can't speak for Jay, but I did.
Thank
I
you.
did.
Jason's over there just
did.
pondering.
He's
right now.
no-selling you right now. He's sandbagging you.
I got called King George this week. I don't know why.
What the heck?
I have no idea why.
Come on, dog. Caillou and King George. Jay, we need to go sit on that black couch over there.
What I like is 2 days ago we had breaks that were like a minute and a half long.
Were they really? That's it? Dang. That's tough.
2 days ago, yesterday.
Was it yesterday?
Come on.
Whatever.
Come
Days
on,
are all
bro.
days.
Days are all days. The ending days.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
So Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving
Mm-hmm.
potentially leaving the Nets.
Kyrie opted in, though.
Yeah, but
But
if
apparently
Kevin Durant's not going to be there.
it was apparently his situation was nobody really wanted Kyrie at this point.
Lakers
so
were it.
But they didn't really want him, right?
I don't know that they wanted him. I'm not sure they had what they needed to get him either.
Yeah. I was listening to somebody who was like, well, his is a money situation where it goes from $36 million to $6 million if he decides to go to LA. And I'm like, dang,
Yeah.
that's tough. I'd opt in also, Jay, to a team that I didn't want to be at to try to get a sign and trade later.
Yeah.
You'd never opt into the Browns.
Deshaun did.
The Durant side of this.
Yeah.
At some point, he might be part of an issue.
Durant?
Yeah.
You think it's him?
Because it's not just here.
Okay, talk to me. I need to hear this one out. On
The
this.
last two places he's gone to play with people.
Yep.
And the first time he wasn't happy, even though they won 2 championships.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to do it on his own. So he went with his best friend. And now the report is, well, he might still play with him, but not in Brooklyn. Like, how many, what's it going to take to make you happy at this point in time? The first year you were there, after they took you on and gave up all this to get you and then end up getting Harden, which was a you thing, not a them thing, because you asked for Harden.
He asked for Harden.
What we've heard.
Okay. Yep.
He didn't play for the whole first year because he was hurt. Came back in the second year. Kyrie was banged up.
Mm-hmm.
Harden was super banged up going into the deal. You won 1 playoff series, and then your shoe was too big. The 3 was a 2 when you got knocked out of the playoffs.
Yep.
And then the following year, you were hurt. Kyrie was hurt. You realize that Kyrie and Kevin Durant played 44 games together in the 3 years that the two of them were both with Brooklyn.
That's tough.
And now you're saying, I want to go join Miami or I want to go join Phoenix. Those being the 2. And now you're hearing – of course, you're hearing all the LA people say Anthony Davis goes to the Nets, and then Kyrie and Kevin Durant end up going to the Lakers to play with LeBron to become the biggest villainous team in the history of the NBA.
God, dog.
Because everybody would hate them.
Yes, they would, man. I didn't know. Well, again, I'm gonna preface this by saying I'm a KD fan when it comes down to it. That's just me on that. As far as the decisions that he made to go play with guys and be on these teams, okay, whether he played GM or not, those dudes didn't hold up their end of the deal though either, like at all. Like in the small way that they actually ball out. Kyrie with this year, of course, with COVID and his getting the vaccine, fine. But you also signed up to play basketball too, and you didn't handle it the way I thought he should have. The team component of being a great teammate is something I feel like Kyrie lacked. So, of course, that puts a strain on. I feel like him and KD's relationship when it all boils down. I just thought that was a bad move by him to actually have a guy like Kyrie that he didn't know that much about. James Harden came there out of shape, wanted to get out also. That in itself is too much. It was too little ball for those 3 guys to actually operate together in cohesion together. It wasn't going to work for him. But in all of it, I take KD over those other 2 7 times during the week.
I don't agree. I don't disagree with that. No one would disagree with that.
And getting out of Brooklyn, I'm looking at it as, man, it seems like LeBron doesn't want Kyrie. It seems like now KD is at a position that even the Nets are willing to give up KD to get him away from Kyrie, man. I just can't understand how a guy like Kyrie is trying to force himself into these situations. And I almost do feel like when you look at the Kyrie-KD connection that they initially had, I actually thought it was more Kyrie's doing than it was KD in the beginning. And
it may have been.
And that's the way I always kind of looked at it, man. I mean, you look at Kyrie stops. Or are they the same person, Jay? Kyrie goes to Boston, not a good fit for him either. Him with LeBron wasn't a good fit either. And now when you move him to Brooklyn, still not a good fit there also. So I'm like, I think it was more of a him thing as far as Kyrie goes than it was KD.
It might be, but KD's the one that said, all right, yeah, I'm going to go play with my friend, as opposed to going to the Knicks where he was originally going to go or actually making a decision for himself. He decided he wanted to go play with Kyrie. That's on him for making that call. Even if Kyrie talked him into it, those two got together.
Yep.
And their worst impulses together ended up putting them together. But the problem is Kevin saying he's definitely open to continuing to play with Kyrie, just not in Brooklyn. It's like, well, how's it Brooklyn's fault that they did what you asked, that they brought Harden in, that they did the Simmons thing that you guys wanted them to do, that they hired the head coach that you asked them to hire in Steve Nash.
Yeah.
Like, how is it the organization being the problem here when they seem to have tried to do everything they can for you?
That's because they're operating off of emotions. They think it's going to work. Like I said, me personally, I don't see the friggin' personalities of KD and Kyrie working. And then you throw James Harden in there. I just think
I didn't like it from the start.
If it was any player who's in control of this, as far as KD or Kyrie pulling the strings to get whatever done, I just thought that was bad. That's fantasy land. That's not going to work. LeBron making it happen, he's had some good moments and he had some terrible moments when it boiled down to it. I think if you look at this Lakers situation with LeBron and how he kind of set up this team, one, they were all too old. Absolutely. I ain't going to say too old, but the game has changed. These guys are moving up and down the floor at a crazy rate, in which I don't think the Lakers can keep up with, especially when they can't keep one of their star players on the court. We're talking about, what are they calling Anthony Davis now? Street clothes? Like, this guy can't find his way on the court consistently enough to go compete for a championship in one of the biggest markets. And when they make these type of decisions, they do make themselves look silly. If it was LeBron this past year and now he's finally saying he's hands off, well, it doesn't seem that way, because it seemed like KD could be potentially in LA also. So are you really hands off? And can LeBron and KD actually work together? Who's the point guard in this situation? You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
Westbrook is back in, right? He said he's back. And that in itself, him. Like, what is that deal about? He's gone from, 4 different teams also in like the last 2 years? It makes zero sense. They got to get to a point, and I'll say this too, and I do feel this way. The management aspect of having guys and putting guys together, I was glad that I didn't go to the University of Louisville with my brother Renardo, and I'm honestly glad that Ron was probably already gone when I got to Tennessee too. Because when you're around people that you know and you like and you love all the time in a competitive aspect, you kind of find yourself pitting against one another a little bit too. Like, if I'd have followed my older brother to Louisville, I'd have probably been like, yeah, I really don't want to be here. Probably not necessarily the case, but you know how you're too familiar, like we're too good of friends to actually work together? That feels like what's happening in the NBA a little bit. And with that being said, some of these guys might have to do what LeBron said he was going to do, and that's back off and let the people that's watching every single tape look at it and say, you know what? This is what's going to work best.
Question
for the
is,
team.
are they actually going to allow that?
Well, that's the thing.
LeBron
it's the
can say
ownership
that,
going
but when
to.
it comes down to it, is he actually going to be able to stay hands off?
So with basketball, it's one of those positions where you don't necessarily have to rely on the team aspect of it, in a sense, because 1 or 2 players can really take over a game until they go up against another squad that's going to shut them down. With football, I won't say it's impossible to do it, because it's more moving bodies. It's more game plans that got to kind of go into it. But in basketball, one guy can change the trajectory of a college. Think about that. Like, you get the number 1 overall prospect. Look at Duke for all these years. They go get these 5-star guys, and 1 or 2 of those guys a year will help change the entire outlook of a team. Look at Penny in Memphis. As far as the outlook of the team, how they perform when they get there is a totally different conversation that has to be had later. But initially getting one player, 1 5-star at a Memphis, at a Tennessee, at a Duke, it changes everything. And that happens in the NBA too, until it runs thin. And then when you have those 2 superstar type of guys together that don't rely on the rest of their team, I think you find yourself in a Brooklyn type of situation. I think you find yourself in another Laker-like situation, to where guys are looking around like, we got all the components, but we're not good enough still as a team. And it sucks that it's kind of evolved that way, I'll be honest with you. Because you have a team like Boston that you would say to yourself, that is a team. They operate as a team. They got a couple superstars, and everybody else, they got strong role players. Marcus Smart. You know what I'm saying? Lakers didn't necessarily have that. Brooklyn didn't have that. I couldn't tell you who were the other role players there. Even Philly, for a sense. After you lost Ben Simmons,
Well, the biggest problem
what
with
do you
them
have?
was Joe Harris got hurt, and he was the only other guy who could get a shot. But a lot of this, I mean, look, David Aldridge wrote it at the Athletic. He said, almost 6 years to the day, Durant stunned the NBA universe in announcing his next chapter in the Players Tribune to the Warriors. Now he wants out again, staying in OKC, where he was already beloved for putting their name on the map, and where statues and airport names and anything else he would have wanted awaited did not make him happy, or in fairness, not happy enough to stay. Staying in Golden State, played alongside a supernova in Stephen Curry, who was willing to shine less brightly, where Durant likely would be approaching a Jordan-level number of championships by now, did not make him happy, or not happy enough to stay. And now at 33, staying in Brooklyn, playing with his good friend Kyrie Irving in an arrangement that turned a franchise into a pretzel as it tried to make it work for them and get aligned in pursuit of a championship, does not make Durant happy enough to stay. Whenever the Nets get their price, he'll be on the move again. Could be Phoenix, could be Miami, could be wherever the muse strikes the former league and 2-time NBA Finals MVP. Then it goes into the story again about how he chose Brooklyn over the Knicks because Kyrie Irving was his, quote, ride or die, unquote. Well, they rode, and now they've died because they did nothing. This goes down for Brooklyn as one of the biggest busts of a franchise making a big swing that we've ever seen in sports.
Yeah.
As big, if not the biggest, considering the level of talent that they tried to make this work with.
Yeah.
It's all time bad.
But they've done that twice now.
They
They
have.
have.
But this is Kevin Durant in his prime. This is Kyrie in his prime. That was Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce.
Durant in his prime. I would
he's
say
still in his prime.
the start of the backside for Kevin Durant.
I mean, he's still arguably you could call him the best player in the world.
understand
And this
that,
was
but-
3 years
Yeah,
ago when he was
Post-torn
30.
Achilles.
Post-torn Achilles, it kind of fell back a little bit, which, again, when you don't have your guys holding up their end of it too, it puts a strain. That's where I'm going with. It makes sense, and you got to buy into these superstars so much. That's the same thing we're speaking about. Can we be real? The Titans this year?
A little bit.
Like, you can't – there's zero room for error. I'll say the same thing about the Vols. There's zero room for error because I don't know what the depth is. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you sell out that hard and you don't have – I ain't going to say a complete team.
Well, that's the Rams.
But a deep team.
The Rams
It
are
was the
that.
Rams. They were
Yeah.
very fragile.
And they will be moving forward.
Yeah. Okay. That's where we're at. Yep.
Because when you're that top end heavy,
Yep. It's hard. It puts a strain on it. I'm telling you, man, on just those contracts, those relationships, and the game. That's what we're seeing right now.
well, and here's the truth. You witnessed that firsthand with the Steelers.
Well,
'Cause
yeah.
it was top end heavy when it was Le'Veon and AB and Big Ben.
very
Then
top.
Le'Veon gets hurt, then
And
AB
what happened?
loses his mind, and then Ben starts declining.
Yep.
And it never happened.
Yep. It never happens.
I'm gonna read more from the Aldridge piece when we come back because I think the way it ends is really interesting. 615-737-1045 is the telephone number. 33rd team has been doing these like position by position, team by team breakdowns over at Mike Tannenbaum's website, and I've been paying attention this week because they did the Colts and it was either Houston or Jacksonville, so I figured the Titans were coming. Well, the Titans are there this morning, so all of the position groups graded from top to bottom. And this will not upset you. I'll go ahead and spoil that tease right now. This shouldn't upset very many people at all because this is a pretty glowing indicator, at least of this gentleman believing the Titans are going to still be a pretty big force this year. So we'll get to all of that. But again, I want to read more from the Aldridge piece when we come back. It's Jay Martin and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. J. Martin Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. So here's what Aldridge says towards the end, because the whole thing is about wasn't happy enough to stay in Golden State, Oklahoma City, all of that. He continues, Durant chose Brooklyn over the Knicks in 2019. Irving was his ride or die. The duo made it clear they did not think Kenny Atkinson was a coach ready for primetime. The Nets overhauled everything in their organization in acquiescence to arguably the best player in the league. They did so knowing Durant would sit out his entire first season in Brooklyn while rehabbing his Achilles. They fired Atkinson, hired Steve Nash, the first-time head coach, had to move promising young center Jared Allen because KD and Kyrie wanted DeAndre Jordan, another friend of theirs, to be Brooklyn's man in the middle. The franchise was remade top to bottom to suit its two superstars, which soon became three superstars. The Nets further mortgaged their future by bringing Harden in from Houston, beating back Philadelphia by giving Houston basically 5 years worth of first-round picks, starting next year through 2027. Brooklyn, without hesitation, gave Durant a 4-year, $198 million extension last summer, even as the implications of Irving's refusal to take the COVID-19 vaccine, which would leave him unable to play home games for most of the season, became clear. Brooklyn backtracked on its initial stance that it would not have Irving around the team as long as he remained unvaccinated. The Nets were all in across the board to try to keep Durant happy. But again, he is not happy or not happy enough to want to stay. And this is where it gets interesting. Or maybe this is happiness. Having the league morph to his whims. Being such a historic titan of basketball has its perks. Maybe one of them is periodically flexing the ability to reconfigure the NBA universe. The greats want to control the outcomes, to orchestrate the moments that define legacies. Durant, for the third time in 6 years, is standing at the top of the key of the offseason, palming the league like it's The Rock. The balance of what happens next hanging on his decisions, on his playmaking instincts. Teams are lining up to offer their talent and draft picks as tribute. That has to feel at least as good as a dagger 3. Free agency is normally a player's chance to feel the freedom of choice, but this is KD. His greatness liberates him to follow the tide of his heart, even with 4 years left on his contract. But liberation always comes with a price. Durant's going to, again, pay in reputation. He's a layered individual. His persona is a dichotomy, savage and sentimental. There's the Durant who believes unequivocally nobody can see him in this hoop thing, a claim supported by his talent, work ethic, and a track record 14 years long. There's also the Durant who loves the simple beauty of basketball, the poetry of the game, and the camaraderie of the team, a persona crafted on the blacktops of PG County, where being one of the guys produced some of his happiest memories. The Nets were supposed to be the perfect home for both. For the savage KD, who spurned the Knicks under the auspices, he was good enough to turn Brooklyn into the new basketball mecca, who would prove once and for all he could be the front man in the building of a champion from the ground up. And also for the sentimental KD, who could hoop every D with one of his best friends in Irving and another homie in Jordan. They could create their own thing, grow together, win together, enjoy the spoils together. Yet now, Durant's looking for another place where both can be true, where he can enjoy the game he loves and prove he's the best at it. Can he find the right place? Does it exist? The safest bet is this cycle will come around again after a few years.
Boy, if that holds true, jeez, KD.
Last sentence. Durant is a perfect ambassador of the era. This is inevitable. Content with calling his shot, leaving tire marks on the franchise behind him as he dips to the next stop of his choosing because he can.
Yeah. Their superstars are different in the NBA. They control it. There's probably one, maybe two that can pull this type of stunt in the NFL. I think we saw Aaron Donald do it this offseason. I feel like we saw Brady do it. Aaron Donald and Tom Brady seems to be the two guys. You can say Devontae Adams kind of pulled his move a little bit, but he was a free agent in that sense, in that time. So Aaron Donald and friggin' Tom Brady, the two guys that can pull that type of muscle and flex in the NFL. NBA players, no, they are a superstar-driven league. They are the faces of their own sport. We're talking about the logo all the time. No, the logo is whoever the hot player is. That's LeBron. That's Steph. I mean, heck, if we're being real right now, it's getting to the point to where Draymond's becoming a guy that's, a big-time spokesperson for the NBA. So when they submit that type of power to him, this is what happens. KD's there. Being in that situation, what you just described, I know your personality is different, Jay, but would it be neglectful not to use it? Or how would you view it?
It's just hard to root for KD when he's doing stuff like this. It just is. I mean, especially when you go back and look at what Brooklyn tried to do to keep him happy, including this. This has never happened before. He's got 4 years left on his deal, and he's demanding a trade publicly from the organization to show how much power he's got. He's got a combined $198 million left on the deal he signed a year ago. So, to that point, the Nets, this is how it's written by a few of the writers at The Athletic. They say, look, the Nets' handling of this, Sean Marks and Joe Tsai drew a line in the sand with Kyrie Irving. Should Irving have received a max offer with hindsight because it may have cost him Durant? Like, no, not at all, because neither one of them has earned the kind of respect that they're demanding, according to these guys. Together, meaning Durant and Kyrie, they hopped on a podcast and made fun of their new coach. Durant pushed for the Nets to let Irving play in road games without a vaccine, which led to James Harden becoming so illusioned with Irving and with the Nets long term that he said he wouldn't re-sign there. Like, this right here went exactly how I thought it would. You've got two of, I believe, the most miserable athletes in sports when it comes to how they seem to operate mentally. I just think they enjoy being in this kind of a framework. Kyrie seeks it out. Kyrie's miserable all the time. It comes out all the time, and that's why teams don't want that on their roster right now. Durant seemingly can't find happiness no matter where it is that he goes, and we already know Harden's never happy. Like, how was that supposed to work? You brought on three Kardashians and hoped that was going to work.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
Again, it's friends playing with friends. Like, you got to have – somebody got to submit, and neither one of those three guys I don't think looked like they were willing to submit this year, man. It can't operate that way.
4-year deal, and Durant's not even coming close to living up to it.
No.
If I'm the Nets, I think seriously about, like, screw it. Just sit home for the next 4 years. We just won't even compete, man.
That's what happened with John Wall.
Like, somebody eventually has to call them on their bluff, because if it's 4 years now, then I don't care that Ja Morant signed a 5-year extension with the Grizzlies. Yeah. Not if Kevin Durant can opt out after one of a 5-year or a 4-year extension with the Nets, or not even opt out, just say, I want to trade, do it publicly, make himself, almost untenable for the Nets organization to keep him in. At that point in time, I'm just like, any deal I see in the NBA at this point, I just don't believe, because of the power that these guys have tried to wield over the last half decade
and have gotten it. But they're handicapped as far as the league goes. Because the ones that are running the league have a huge stronghold on the players too. Clutch Sports, yeah, they can out them all they want to. Rock Nation, they can do it all they want to. I don't think the league has that power anymore as of right now.
Well, they may not. If I'm the Nets, I'm like, all right, go play in Atlanta.
It could.
And then he's just going to say, well, I won't play there. And we've got a big problem at that point in time.
Yeah. We'll see. It's got to evolve a little bit more. I'm waiting to see what they're going to give up for KD.
Everybody's going to get in line and give up. But the idea right now is that the Suns will give up DeAndre Ayton. Really?
Ooh.
I'm not sure I'd even take that phone call if I was the Nets. 615-737-1045. is a telephone number, 737-1045. 33rd team ranked all the position groups for the Titans over at Mike Tannenbaum's website. We will jump into that deep dive when we come back. Jay Martin, Ramon, 1045 The Zone.
Is the summertime heat causing you to lose your cool? If it does, I can kind of understand that a little bit, okay? But stay cool. And don't let a broken down or older HVAC unit keep you from being comfortable in your own home. I've told you before, somebody has always told me, look, never be uncomfortable in your own home. And a broken HVAC unit, that'll do it for you. But it's Ramon Foster. I have the heating and cooling company that can take care of all of your HVAC needs, and they are Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. They offer free service calls with their repairs, plus low monthly payments on those repairs also. And if you do need a new unit, Spring Hill Heating and Cooling offers 60 months, no interest financing. Plus, they can provide the financing for qualifying purchases and free estimates on those replacement units. And they also back their work with 10-year parts and labor warranties. So when the summer is at its hottest, listen to me, they are at their best. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Available anytime at springhillac.com.
It is 7:01. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com sports desk. USC and UCLA are leaving the Pac-12 and will join the Big Ten in 2024. Yesterday, the Big Ten approved the applications for admission for the two schools. The vote to approve was unanimous. Denver Nuggets star Nikola Jokic has agreed to the largest contract in NBA history, a 5-year, $270 million Supermax extension. Phoenix Suns star Devin Booker has agreed on a 4-year, $224 million Supermax extension. Kevin Durant has requested a trade from the Brooklyn Nets, and Ja Morant has agreed to a 5-year designated rookie extension that will likely be worth $231 million. To Major League Baseball, Phillies over the Braves, 14-4. Atlanta is at Cincinnati tonight. 5:40 will be the first pitch for that. For our foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? Welcome in Hour 2, J. Martin and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. A few more hours this week, then we'll take a longer weekend off. We haven't mentioned this yet, but we want your butt stupid stories today.
What?
In short, we want your fireworks stories, which we took a few of them a few days ago, and then we said, wait, we'll do this on Friday.
Yeah, because we won't be in on Monday, man.
Y'all won't. What did the plumber say to the singer? Nice pipes. All right. Dad Joke Friday is off and running.
Friday.
How do you fix a broken pumpkin? With a pumpkin patch.
I was solid.
Those are two from Cousin Brian this morning.
Okay.
But fireworks stories, dumb fireworks stories, we'll take them. My wife said, yep, this is how you guys need to set it up. Just flat out say, don't be the idiot on Monday.
Yeah.
And don't be the one that's firing off fireworks 3 days early because you're going to drive all the dogs unnecessarily crazy and everything else. Like, we don't need that. My daughter's trying to sleep at night. I'm trying to sleep, if you wouldn't mind as well. Like, mix in, doing it on the 4th. I don't need your cherry bombs going off on the 7th. I don't need your M80s. I don't need any of it.
Roman candles.
Yeah, no Roman candles. None of the
mortars.
giant ones.
Yeah.
Stay out of those stores.
I don't know though, Jay. I'm a little opposite of you. I don't mind before the 4th. Like if you start popping July 1st, which is today,
That
happy
means you're
1st of
gonna
the
be
month.
doing it.
No, I hadn't went and picked them up yet, man. Also, we're on like a burn notice in Sumner County right
That's
now.
right.
It's got to rain.
That's right. It's a
'Cause-
bad drought or a little. It's not really bad drought compared to like California.
No, Cali is dry.
But we do have some country grass out here.
Yeah. The transcripts ain't right when it comes to the grass this in July right now, man. But it's I hadn't picked up anything just yet, but I don't blame people who start tonight. And it's a Friday. You know fireworks are getting popped tonight, Jay. I'm just going to go ahead and prep you, man. If you got some soundproof headphones, put those on. Put some on CG. Put the dog in the garage. They're going to get popped tonight. I'm already expecting it. Even if there's an anti-fireworking notice that's being put out for counties too, it's going to happen. I hate let's just throw this out here. The 12:01 on July a.m. on July 5th. Those people can eat a raw potato, is what I'm telling you. They can eat a raw potato with a loose tooth in their mouth, is how I feel about that one, okay? Those people are the worst. You need to get it all in. Look, if you know you got a truckload of fireworks, start at like 6 o'clock. There's no need for you to be popping fireworks after 12 o'clock on July 5th. That's all. Before, from here forward, Jay, do your thing. I don't even care. Because that was me as a kid. And guess what? I'm still a kid. If I did have a few bottle rockets tonight, I might put a couple up in the air. Okay? I'm just going to throw that out there. I don't mind it, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
The silliest thing that I ever did, though, with fireworks was actually believing they were safe. You know what did it for me? JPP. Because the same stuff that he was doing, holding mortars and the big time, bombs that you put up in the air, one, they are really bombs, if we're being honest about them. They just find a way to shoot up. But watching JPP and honestly seeing that picture, I know, I'll be honest with you, I would have been the guy to hold one of those big box mortars. I know I would have been. I never did it at that point. And afterwards, I was like, you know what? It's a good thing I never held one of those, because at any point in time, they can go AWOR. I'm talking haywire, like just no. JPP, look at that visual. You would never hold a mortar again. So much so that I even have a crafted platform in underneath my house that I set my fireworks on.
Yeah, when I've done it when I've gone to other people's houses and helped them set up big time displays and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it to try and protect. I actually showed Abby the JPP photo yesterday.
Yeah,
when we were at brunch, just to show her how it can go wrong. To set the stage, 615-737-1045 is the telephone number. Let's go to Cousin Joey in Cross Plains. Joey, what's going on?
What's up, fam?
Yeah.
So, this is about 12, 13 years ago. My dad and I, we had a wholesaler out of Nashville where we used to get our fireworks. We used to have these big, amazing shows. And one year, I had bought this for the finale. I had bought this one. It was like a box, and it sat on the ground, but it shot way on up there, and it was called the Great American Performance. And I told my dad, I said, I am going to shoot this one last. I said, don't touch it, don't look at it. So he, we get to shooting off, and we used to shoot for like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
And so I told him, I was like, don't touch it. Don't even look at it. And I walked around to the front of the house to talk to some of my friends and everything. Well, then the next thing I know is we've got fireworks coming over the house, going through, like people, it's hot, so they left their windows down. Like fireworks going through people's cars' window, popping in their cars. Thankfully none of them caught on fire. Hitting the side of the house, going in the pool and everything. And I run around, and he has done set this on a smaller box called the Matrix. So as it was shooting off and getting a lighter on one end, but still staying the same weight on the other end, it started to top over. And like I said, when it did, it started firing at the side of the house and the pool and all through people's cars and everything. I to this day, I do not let him live that one down, because that was the dumbest thing he ever did.
Yes, 100%.
So that's Cousin Joey, and people in the chat because this is. I knew this was coming. Like, I don't know that I feel safe being around Joey and fireworks.
Yep, there it is.
Leave Joey alone, man.
Andrew said, "How do you know they were amazing? You can't see it."
He
hasn't always been blind.
Yeah, he hasn't been blind since birth.
He's gonna fight y'all. That's 100%. I feel him though. Don't go popping my big firework that I told you not to at the end of the day.
He's gonna fight you as long as you're quiet. You're all right.
You're right. Shave, but yeah, I set a dumpster on fire one year by disposing of the boxes before they actually cooled down. I watered them down, but apparently they run hot, and I'm in my house, man, and I hear fire trucks going by, and they're going up the street to where the dumpster was. There was some construction going on, man. And let me tell you this, Jay, I didn't go outside. That I did not, because I had a firefighter, but it was like, yeah, we kind of took care of that for a year. Don't do that again, though, Ramon. It's pretty wild. Set a dumpster on fire. Good thing, literally a dumpster fire. Get it?
Yeah, no, I get it.
I was just wondering if you
So
got
was that in Cleveland?
It's gonna be real.
Should have been in Cleveland.
Should have been in Cleveland.
Casey, line 3. Casey, what's
up, Casey, with the cats?
Where were you yesterday, Casey?
Hey, man, it was a long day. Man, I had to work 12 hours. Outside, so I was just trying to get done. But yeah, down in Lewisburg, yeah, they banned the fireworks altogether. We've actually had a couple house fires already from them. So
what?
So my story is, man, when I was little, meaning like 10, 12 type range. I don't know if y'all know, like back in the old cartoon days, how they used to like light matches in people's toes when they were sleeping. So me and my cousin had this idea that we would get some like the black cat like bottle rockets, and we would take them off the stem, and we were gonna do that to his stepdad.
No.
And so he fell asleep in the living room, like on the lazy boy, like feet propped up perfect. He always wore Crocs, so he never wore socks or anything like that. So we were set up perfectly for this, man. So we went in there, did it, put it in between his big toe, and lit it. And man, I want to let you know just how scared a man can get when he doesn't understand what's going on in his own house. This man jumped up out this lazy boy, ran outside, and jumped in the nearest pond he could find because he thought he was on fire. But he wasn't really hurt. He didn't get any burns or anything from what. But I want to let y'all know that that was the worst beating I was ever received for doing that to that man.
I'm thinking of like Homer and Bart right now.
Casey,
Stay
cool, brother.
I'm anti-child abuse, but y'all deserve something that day.
Yeah, that's a bad day right there.
That's terrible, man.
That's heinous.
Can you imagine somebody putting a black cat in between your toes, Jason?
No.
Casey?
You know what that is? That's a dumb tax.
Oh, my God.
That is a dumb tax right there.
See, that's where cartoons and wrestling get kids right there. I'm on the soapbox about it because I almost paralyzed my brother with a wrestling move.
I know. That's what you claim is that wrestling did it and you didn't just. Jeremy says I got hit with a firecracker that burned a hole the size of a golf ball in my bike shirt when I was 12.
You probably
Your bike shirt?
Bike.
Oh, by the way, Cousin Joey called back in and said to Cousin Andrew,
"Kiss my ass."
Anybody got the Terry audio?
Terry, back up, Terry.
let me work on that.
Yeah.
By the way, when I said anybody, that means you. Yeah.
By the way, I did.
Because you can turn my
this.
mic off. It also means you're the only one that can play audio. Well, that ain't actually true. Because yesterday I was going to try and play you off by playing music off my phone straight into the microphone.
It's not going to work well for you, Jason. As your mic is turned, there it is. There it is. Stop beating on the mic, Jay. Stop beating on the mic, man. I did see that too. Springfield got banned. I think they still have a ban on Springfield, Tennessee. They had an all-out fireworks, like, I don't know what you want to call it, war, battle with the police.
Sure.
It made news.
Sure.
Like, it was bad, Jason. Go on YouTube and look up Springfield fireworks. It is a delight to see, and not in a good way.
Man, Dan, Paul, Dominic, Stan, Cousin Scooby. We got 5 lines lit. What's a smart thing to do? The professional thing to do is say we take a break and then we roll through these phone calls when we come back. If you guys are on hold, why don't you hang on? It won't be that long, and we'll get.
That's what she said.
I ain't even doing anything, Jason.
Y'all hang on the line. 615-737-1045 to get in line with the 5 that are already on the line. And we're going to take fireworks stories because that's what we're going to do. Because that's what we do.
And don't burn the chicken this weekend on the grill.
Grilling tonight.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
Save it for the 4th.
Got a grilling lesson. It's Jay Martin Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
Brian's Motorsports is shutting down the streets of Hendersonville on July 8th. Why? Let me tell you this. They are hosting the pre-party for the Southeastern Truck Nations at Brian Motorsports in Hendersonville. Listen to me. The event is free, which is also awesome. So bring your family and come on down to Brian's Motorsports in Hendersonville. The party starts at 5 p.m. And let me tell you this. He literally shuts down the streets with all the trucks, all of the vehicles that are going to be there. If you ever wanted to see a vehicle you've seen in a magazine, on social media, on just anywhere that you've ever imagined, is going to be at Brian Motorsports, man. And the party starts at 5, and it has our crew, 3HL, starting their live broadcast at 3. And guess what? I'll even be on site, too, if you want to come by and look at my truck that Brian also did, too. There will be a DJ on site also rocking some tunes. There will be food trucks there. I've had some great tacos there last year when I went to it. Plus, you can see all of the show trucks from all of the Southeast. I saw some things and some trucks I never saw before. Some stuff customized on vehicles that I never thought was even possible. You'll get an opportunity to see those up front. And who doesn't enjoy a good time on Main Street in Hendersonville, Tennessee? And also, if you're looking to find a customization, some new tires, a lift, custom wheels, leather interior, Brian's Motorsports can also hook that up for you too, because they specialize in lift kits, tires and rims, custom interiors, winches, step bars, grills, lighting, and graphics for all things customizable on your vehicles. Go see my guy at Brian's Motorsports, and also go check them out July 8th for a big time party on the streets of Hendersonville.
J. Mart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer, Jason Martin here with you. Dan is on line one. Dan, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. How are y'all this morning?
Good morning.
All right. Well, I've got two that I'm going to tell you real quick, and I'm going to preface this by I've been a firefighter for 30 years, and I just started realizing I've done some stupid stuff when it comes to fireworks. But we had a cookout, and we were shooting off fireworks for probably about 50 people. And one of the guys that was helping us was a cop, and he came up with the idea of, hey, I've got some road flares. Let's use them to light off the mortars that we're shooting. Well, they decided to dump them all into one box and just reach in there and grab whatever. Well, when it got real dark and you couldn't see in the box too well, somebody got the bright idea of holding the road flare over the box for light. Well, they dripped molten sulfur out of those flares, and it landed inside the box. And we had about $800 worth of fireworks go off in 10 seconds.
Oh, boy. $800. That's going out with a bang, but you need that to last you about 10 minutes.
He had 2 stories, Jay.
Did he?
Yep.
I'll call back.
Yeah, sniper.
He got one in.
Look, he's a firefighter, and he had
Sorry,
a
Dan
cop
calls back.
right there. He's a firefighter and had a cop, and even they're degenerates, man. A road flare, that's got to be burning hot, too. Can you imagine the scramble after that? God, I wanted to ask him that, but Jason hung up.
He'll call us back.
Way to go, sniper.
I don't know why I'm taking this.
Sniper, no snipey.
Line 7. Vols Deep is on line 7.
Oh, wow.
What do you got?
What's up, Vols Deep?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Good morning. I got a good dad joke for you.
All right.
Sorry, real quick. I had something stuck in my throat.
Was that it?
What do football players do when they go blind? They become referees.
Thank you for nothing.
I actually like that one, man. That ain't bad. That sounds like a Titan and Vols fan right there to me. That's just a story I lives on Sundays and Saturdays.
Paul is in Franklin. Paul, what's going on?
Paul?
Yeah, I got a few. Let me preface this. I was born in 57, so my introduction to fireworks was in the 60s.
Okay.
We used to have fireworks fights. Throw firecrackers at our feet, bottle rockets, Roman candles. Then, as we got older, we couldn't buy them in Davidson County at the time. We rode our bicycle to the county line.
What?
And bought fireworks, and then I waited one time. I was probably 12. And I asked the guy, I said, you got any M80s and cherry bombs? And he looked around, too. He took me out back to a hollow log, and we bought a box of M80s and a box of cherry bombs.
Yeah.
Then we took them back home, and there was a slingshot called the wrist rocket. And this was a 2-man operation. Pull it back, a guy lights it, and you shoot it out there, and it would go a long way. It's like artillery. But that's all I got. I never received any injuries, so I'm good.
You
Paul,
are good.
Paul, I don't want to hear about your wrist rockets.
Can you imagine slinging them around the neighborhood,
Oh,
man?
no.
Why
No,
Paul,
I can't.
Why Paul can't talk about the wrist rockets, man?
Wrist rockets. It's like a 5-knuckle shuffle.
Come on. Hey, listen, I did some crazy stuff too with fireworks. The like holding the beer bottle and like the empty beer bottle with bottle rockets in it was always clutch. I'm to the point now I won't hold Roman candles anymore because of JPP though. Like I'm anti Roman candles now, especially the ones that blow up in your hand. If you read the label also, it also do not hold. And what do we all do? We hold them. Hold that. Love fireworks, though, Jay. It's going to be a party in Parsons Way, I'll tell you that much.
Dominic in South Nashville.
Great.
Dominic, what's up?
Man, what's going on, fellas? Good morning to y'all.
What's up, Dominic?
Man, mine goes back to my 13-year-old bad butt. You know, I spent the summer in Prentice, Mississippi, where my mother's hometown, good country land, bush hogging with my grandfather. And just so happened, we had watermelons and stuff, and they, we packed them up in a big old semi. My uncle took them out. I didn't get to go on the trip. So me being mad, I take my little 4 M80s, wrap them together, and you know how old, old pine trees at the bottom of the fall and they turn brown.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wrap them up. I'm just looking for the big explosion, and I cover it up with the pine. Next thing you know, I light it up. Boom! The whole tree light up. My grandmama coming out there with a bucket of water, everything, and then I run toward the pig stack, and it's mud and high ass grass. But my grandfather and his World War II eyes hawks me out, sees me with all that mud on over there, throws me a bar of soap, whoops my ass, and it sprays me off with the water hose. I remember that fella.
Yeah. Hey, listen, you ain't supposed to be putting that underneath the pine tree anyway. I'm with him though on that. How come the worst stories have already just been M80s? We've had 2 M80 stories from the wrist rockets all the way to now setting pine trees on fire. And you know what, Dominic? You deserve that butt whooping. I'm just going to throw that out there too. Your granddaddy wasn't wrong.
What was it Lonzo said? I don't think this was a dad joke. I just think this was straight slander. Ramon talking about dumpster fires. Was he at Lindsey Nelson Stadium?
Hey. Uh-oh. We're past that now. Shout out to Ole Miss. SEC ranks.
Apparently they know how to play baseball in the state of Mississippi the last 2 years.
Their transcripts are right. That's why.
Stan is in Hendersonville. Stan, what's going on?
What's up,